What's up, everybody? It's another episode of Coast to Coast. I am your host, Pags. We got Stat Guy, we got Jay, we got football back. No Bo today. He'll be back. He'll be back tomorrow. He had some stuff he had to do. And I think he was the only team that lost, right? Seattle lost.
No, Seattle won 26-20.
Oh, look at that. See, so all four of us were 1-0 in first week of football. And obviously, as you could tell from my back, I am back home. And I tell you, it's great to be away, and it's a lot of fun to be in another country and blah blah blah. But I was very happy to sleep in my own bed last night.
I can
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, it was just time. It was just time. Uh,
Well, they didn't have the
amongst
plush
anything else,
beds
I
out
had
there in Brazil.
I had an absolute fantastic time in Brazil, uh, but I will tell you that I had a difficult time with trying to sleep. Sleeping was a challenge. But other than that, I had an absolute amazing time in Brazil. All of the talk and all of the bitching and all of the crying from all the people who didn't go to Brazil, all of that, nothing. Nothing at all. I had a great time. Our whole group, not one incident from the other groups that went down there. I haven't heard of any one incident. The only thing that I had even heard about a little bit was that somebody, a couple of people, forgot their passports on the plane. So it wasn't even like because they were like, "Oh my God, we lost our passports already." They were on the plane. They didn't even take it
Oh,
off the plane. So that was their own fault. The
wow.
the biggest thing that happened to me was the fact that they made me remove my face paint that we had spent 3 hours uh, doing live. Actually, we did it live on both Instagram and TikTok. Um, but all in all, such an amazing experience, so much fun, and I would say that if anything else, that the if the NFL needs anybody to talk about how great of a trip this was and how worthwhile it was to have this game in Brazil, they should give me a call because right now, from what I understand from people in Brazil, is that this face right here with makeup on the sides of it, mind you, is trending, is the highest, is the largest trending story in Brazil right now.
Is it really?
I am. I am. I
Nice.
Oh,
am
that's
trending
good.
in Brazil, because I gave a speech talking about how great of a trip it was. It was like a minute long thing. I was saying it's a shame that the media and that ignorant people had to try to ruin it for everybody that was here, but they couldn't ruin it. They couldn't pee in our Cheerios that far away. You know what I mean? It was such a great time. I had such a blast. I heard everybody else had a great time that was with us, and I'm fully about um, having games in Brazil again.
So the I guess the learning here is Brazil just needs to have better mattresses so you can get better sleep. Then that's the only
Well,
thing.
I feel like that was my own fault. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't sleep. I don't sleep well at all. So it's not. I have a hard time sleeping in my own bed. However, I did sleep last night.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was probably very
Nice.
loud with the snoring last night. But
That's fine.
I
And
it
that and
was
that, and
such
that
an
flight
amazing.
is how long?
So we flew in and out of Miami. So we took it
Nice.
was 3 hours to Miami, and then it was another 8 hours from Miami to Brazil to Rio. So, and then it was another 8 hours coming back into
Oh
Miami. eight
wow.
hours and 15 minutes from Sao Paulo. But such an amazing time. Get to see all the different sights and sounds and smells of Brazil. The steak was flowing. The steak was flowing. Lots and lots and lots and lots of steak. Oh, it was great. It was great. It was an amazing time. Just an overall great experience, and just so excited to be able to have shared this with um, the people that went with us, the Eagles fans in Brazil, the NFL fans that were in Brazil, which was a big surprise to me. I thought that there would be a lot more Americans there than there was. This stadium was sold out, 100% sold out, and 90% of them, I want to say, were Brazilian.
Hmm.
So, which was a shock to me. But I learned a few things right from the door. Like when we're there in Rio and we're having our your welcome party, there's a guy that came up to me who plays American football he gets paid. He's a professional football player in Brazil. And he was an offensive lineman who was only a little bit bigger than me. But even still, it was just like that. He was one of the first people that I met, and that I started following his football team, and then other football teams saw that and saw, like, they started to follow me and started to say, hey, look at us, look at us, look at us. It really was cool to realize that American football did have a fairly large presence in Brazil. The Eagles Brazil group, they threw a big party, and I kind of thought that it was more for the Americans. No, it was full of Brazilians. And I walked in there as if I was Brad Pitt. I mean, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back by any stretch of the imagination, but it was like I was Michael Jackson reincarnate. And how the moment I walked in the door, I was flooded, just literally flooded. Everybody in that place wanted a picture. It was awesome. It was just completely and utterly awesome. And I mean, I can't say enough good things about it.
Nice.
So yeah, that was my week. How was your guys' week?
Good. Relaxing, but good.
So,
yeah, I saw the interview that you put on Facebook with the football guy, and I thought that was pretty cool that you actually found a Brazilian football player.
Right. Well, and that's, like I said, it was interesting to know that, hey, like, he came up to me right away and he's like,
"Oh, mine was good. The Cowboys won, so Astros lost, but the Cowboys won." So,
yeah, I get you. Well, that guy came up to me and he goes, "What are you guys doing here? The game's in Sao Paulo." So I talked to him a little bit. I says, "Hey, we just came here for a holiday, and then we are then going to Sao Paulo on Thursday for the game on Friday." And he was like, "Hey, well, I play American football here for." All right, he'll be back in a second.
What city did you like better? Did you like Sao Paulo better, or did you like Rio better?
So we weren't in Sao Paulo enough to be able for me to make that assessment. And we stayed a little bit outside of Sao Paulo. Like, we stayed in the state of Sao Paulo, but not in the city.
Okay.
So I can't really speak on the city other than when we went to the game.
Other than it's the fourth largest city in the world.
Right. So ultimately, there you go. Now you even look better because you were a little pixelated back then too. So Rio was the better city for us as a group because we spent so much more time there. But when I went to the party, the Eagles Brazil party, that was absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? It was a lot of fun there. Things are so much cheaper there than they are here. So much cheaper.
Of course. It's always going to be cheaper. That's the beautiful thing about it. It's like, your money definitely goes a lot farther, right? Especially at the bar.
Yes, the bar does go a lot farther. Yeah, so I learned about a caprahina, so that I say it right. My Brazil got a little bit better, or my Portuguese got a little bit better, to say the least. I still, they were they were still calling me some funny names that I probably can't repronounce, but that's okay. You know what I mean? And they enjoyed, like I said, even though I couldn't go in with the face paint, they knew who I was, and still like it was. So Instagram is the big deal down in Brazil. Like that's the social media down there. Everybody's got Instagram, and they were all coming up and going, "Hey, Jamie, can I take a picture?" Not Philly sports guy. They were all calling me Jamie. So it was interesting how many people knew me by my name, asking to take pictures. So I was kind of surprised by that. But
Nice. Yeah,
but
the fact that they knew your first name was interesting.
yeah, it was. But overall, well, because I go by Jamie, the Philly sports guy. The Philly sports guy is the name, but everybody called me by my first name. So it was really just a lot of fun. And I mean, I was excited to be there and happy to be a part of it. So, but yeah, that being said, football is back, baby.
Awesome thing to be a part
Football
of.
is
I mean,
back.
I'd love to do something like that.
And let's go over some of the scores that don't matter to us.
Yes, thank goodness.
The Steelers beat Kirk Cousins and the Falcons 18-10. We talked about that briefly off the air. The Steelers, interestingly enough, are going to be a question mark all year long about how they're going to be able to go above 500 this year. And I picked them on Sunday as that's the team that I thought was going to win the game as an underdog. So, and I was right about that. I also chose the Minnesota Vikings to win this week against the New York Giants. Yeah. And so far, my thing is correct. We'll see the Vikings. We do have somebody who does care about the Vikings. So we'll let him talk about this a little bit.
Fun stat quick before you move on with that. With that pick six that Daniel Jones threw to Andrew Van Ginkel yesterday, he now has more pick sixes than touchdown passes since he signed his massive contract. He's got 8 pick sixes and 7 touchdown passes.
Nice. So 15 touchdown passes in total. Good job out of Daniel Jones. What did I tell you guys? I said that I thought that the Giants, you got to bet the under. 17 offensive touchdowns is the over-under. They're going under this year. Under 17 offensive touchdowns. So far, that's leading.
Unless they go with Drew Lock, then I would go over. But if they stick with Daniel Jones, I go way under.
Well, they're already asking how long do you do this until Daniel Jones gets benched?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had more time this morning. I didn't have any time this morning because I really wanted to stay in bed for a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I meant to. But Sneaky G had this amazing halftime analysis. He looked like he was about to cry. He didn't know what to say. He's like, yeah, we're down 14-3. He for a minute, he's just like he said his eyes were welling up, like he didn't know what to say. And I'm like, that was riveting analysis. Maybe you guys could use a good running back like Saquon Barkley. Oh, wait. That was nice of me, I thought. How about the Miami Dolphins with Convict Hill getting arrested right before the game? Another wide receiver coming out and saying, I don't know what the hell you guys are doing. I tell you, the cops down there really go out of their way to make sure that they can win their fantasy football games.
Yeah, well, that cop's also been placed on administrative leave now for however long that investigation is going to go, because Tyreek Hill still has no idea why he was stopped or detained.
Yeah, nobody understands anything about it.
Because he wasn't speeding. He wasn't doing anything. He has no idea why he was stopped.
And wait till the one thing that we haven't seen yet is any body cam footage or any car footage.
That's why he's on administrative leave, because he had his body cam off.
Oh, well, yeah, that tells me a lot. That tells me a lot.
Now they
You
have to
know,
go through like
did
traffic
it?
claims.
Was it not for nothing? Wasn't the cop also African American?
I'm not sure because when you see the video, all you can see is like one camera has like the picture of the car like parked up to the side of the road, kind of on the front angle, and then the other camera has Tyreek
It,
Hill getting arrested, where you see the back of the police officer in the back of Tyreek Hill. You don't actually see the
but
cop.
there was one camera, there was one view that showed it as they were driving by, and there was a girl talking, and it looked like the guy that was on his back was also black.
I think so. Yeah.
So this isn't a racist thing.
No.
This is a cop thing.
Yeah. So now they got to
Oh,
go
wow.
through like all the traffic cameras on like all the stoplights and like any kind of like building camera they can try to get footage on to see of like why was he being pulled over if he wasn't speeding.
Yeah, that's the funny thing we're trying to talk about is that he was going up against Tyreek Hill and needed to make sure that he was
Oh,
clustered for the
wow.
game. We don't know that. That's we're just making jokes here a little bit, but either way, I mean that's got to be a little bit of a scary thing to happen right in front of the stadium,
Right.
like right in front of the stadium. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing down in Miami, but the fact that
Yeah, that
Miami
probably
was
wasn't a
able
good
to pull
career
it,
move for the cop.
and the fact that the Miami Dolphins were able to pull that off, and what did he have? Was it an 80-yard touchdown reception, something like
Yeah.
that?
85, I think, or 80. Yeah.
I mean, good to see that he was able to overcome that, and the Jaguars start off 0-1. How about this as a surprise? All right, he's going again. The New England Patriots bamboozle the Bengals 16-10.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that Cincinnati does this on purpose. Because when you look at Zach Taylor's 5 years now as a head coach in Cincinnati, he's 0-5 in season openers. And a lot of times when Cincinnati plays, they always start the season 1-3, 1-4, and then they go on like a 6 or a 7 game win streak. This like starting slow for them is nothing out of the ordinary. But I'm shocked that they lost to the Patriots because I thought the Patriots were going to be battling for the number 1 pick this year.
Well, and they still might. You know, like I said, this is the preseason of the regular season. That these games really are preseason games, and they're going to have to get themselves together. So the fact that that they were able to win this game, in New England is probably good for them. You know, he made sure that he didn't get any of the Gatorade in his sneakers. That was a big deal for him. He didn't want to keep the sneakers clean. But that's how they mentioned that. And the Patriots start the season off 1-0, which was a big surprise. All those people that chose the Cincinnati Bengals in their suicide pick. Cut!
That includes me. I picked them too. So
see, I picked the Vikings. I thought the Giants were definitely.
I was going to wait till I think week 5 to pick the Vikings because that's when they played Tennessee.
Here was another game that was a much higher scoring game than I expected it to be. Buffalo Bills go into Arizona and just barely get past them, but get past them nonetheless. Get the 34-28.
I thought Josh Allen did a couple of really nice acrobatic plays.
I only watched a little bit of this game on Red Zone, as they were going back and forth and stuff like that. So I was surprised to see that Arizona kept it so tight. That's about it. I thought that the Bills were going to be a much better team.
Well, I really expected more out of Marvin Harrison wasn't really even too much of a factor considering how high he was drafted,
Well, I mean, he's a rookie wide receiver. Most rookie wide receivers take 4 or 5 games to kind of get up to the NFL speed because they're not used to the physicality.
Yeah.
Because you cannot touch each other as much in college off the line as you can in the NFL.
Yeah, and you noticed that what was one of the things I noticed a lot? They kept
but come on now.
They kept their flags in the pockets for the hand checking.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of hand checking happening throughout the NFL with
Yep.
no calls. So I think that's kind of cool that I like that. I like that better than them calling everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the Brazil game had lots and lots and lots of flags. But anyways, like I said, but the hand checking is good, and that's gonna mess him up a little bit, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Along with the fact that he's got this lawsuit over his head too that he's going to be crying about for a little bit.
Yeah.
The next, Houston Texans outlast the Indianapolis Colts. That's the best way I can explain that. 29-27. Much better game than I expected it to be. I thought the Texans were going to just roll over the Colts, but Stephon Diggs with 2 touchdowns. Who else was?
Mixon got one.
Mixon got one.
I think Nico Collins had one too, or Tank Dell, one of the two.
Yeah, I thought Mixon should have gotten a second one. Like they were down at the 3-yard line. They wound up kicking a field goal instead of getting. I'm like, why didn't you just give it off to Nixon instead of doing whatever goofy ass play you were trying to do? They didn't do it, and that was that. So, but anyway.
I will say I was kind of impressed with Anthony Richardson, though. Granted, he only completed 9 passes, but everybody knew that he had a good arm. But I don't think a lot of people saw that arm last year because he only played 3 games before he got hurt. He's got a chance to actually do something this year.
Well, he had 9 passes for 212 yards.
Yeah.
So he's got an arm, and he Supermaned his way into that end zone for that one.
Yeah, I think he could be
literally busted his way through.
I think he'll be a player to watch this year because if he can stay healthy, that's an element that the Colts have really never had at quarterback because you had Peyton Manning under center for 14 years before they went to Andrew Luck, and then Andrew Luck was there for 7 years. Like Anthony Richardson is something completely different than what Colts have seen.
Right. So it will be interesting. Like I said, I now this game made me because they were showing this game more than any other game on the red zone. So I thought, after watching this, I'm going to be a little bit higher on the Colts than I was beforehand. So I think that they have a much better future as long as they can pull out some of the games. Like I said, I kind of thought this was going to be a rollover. The fact that they kept it so tight makes me believe that the Colts are going to surprise some teams this year.
Well, they just missed the playoffs last year with Minshew because they were
Right.
9-8 last year, and they ended up just missing out the playoffs because of tiebreaker.
Okay, Jay, are you out? Are you sticking around, Jay? I know that Jay's having a little bit of a hard time with the internet today.
Yeah, my internet's. Can you guys hear me okay now?
I can. You're a little pixelated, but we can hear you. Okay. Or he's gone. So, next, big surprise. This is the first time ever a rookie quarterback starting in his very first game in his NFL career wins. Chicago Bears 24, Tennessee Titans 17.
Well, with no help from Caleb Williams, so we'll just say that.
Yeah, Caleb Williams really didn't have much to do with this, but they do win his thing. It was a lot more rushing. Caleb Williams was threw for 93 yards, which is a PU.
Can we put an asterisk next to that stat, though? Because Caleb Williams really had nothing to do with that win.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but he gets the win. That's the thing. He gets the win. So, I would suspect that you're going to see a lot of that this year. He's going to be throwing for nothing. Nothing. Like it's going to be maybe his high game will be maybe like 270 this year. He's not going to be somebody who's going to throw the ball very well at all. How many rushing yards did he have?
I think he had like 21.
So nothing even crazy that way.
DeAndre Swift only had 30. I don't even think the Bears had like 80 yards rushing as a team. They had I think they said they had 138 yards of offense yesterday between rushing and passing.
84 yards. 84 yards of rushing.
And then 93 passing, counting the sacks. Yeah, they ended up with under 150 yards of offense.
Yeah. They punted for 270 yards.
It's because they got that Iowa. Yeah, they have that Iowa punter who averages like 56 yards a punt.
Right. But yeah, that's it. They had total yards was 148.
Yep.
And three fumbles, one fumble lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
And then 2 interceptions for the Bears. One was a pick six. It was also the first time since 2012 that the Bears had a pick six and a punt block for a touchdown in the same game.
so the Bears defense is really what
Their Bears
scored.
defense is going to be legit. Their defense is going to be very scary this year. Just kind of like how it was the final 6 weeks last year, how they led the NFL in turnovers last year over those final 6 games. It's going to be very similar to that, where a lot of their games are going to be like 20 to 17 games where the defense is pretty much going to win it.
But next on the list, the New Orleans Saints. They tried to mimic what was done to Denver last year from Miami and score 70 points in the first half. They didn't get it done. They got 47-10 against the Carolina Panthers. So I'm going to skip to something different here about this specifically. The only thing I got to talk about with this game at all is this. I got a trade in my fantasy, which I lost my first fantasy game by 3 points. I'm still unsure on how that even happened. But anyways, I've been offered a trade. I have David Montgomery.
Okay.
And somebody has offered me Hubbard.
No.
For David Montgomery.
No.
That's what I say.
I'm at the point now, and I understand that Bryce Young is only in his second season, and yesterday I think it was his 14th or 15th start. But at what point are Carolina just going to pull the plug and like, we're going with Andy Dalton and we're starting over? Because Bryce Young looks absolutely fucking terrible.
Just like crap, straight crap.
Like, he was the number 1 pick, which I understand, but he showed no progression last year at all. Like, he seemingly got worse as the season went on last year, and he looked even worse yesterday than he did at any point last season. I'm not saying that Andy Dalton's going to come in and be a savior, but at least Andy Dalton's serviceable enough where he can win some games.
Yeah, well, damn. Hold on, Hubbard only got 14 yards yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said Carolina's a complete dumpster fire. If they win more than 3 games this year, I will be shocked because that team has no identity. They have no answer. They have a first-year head coach in Dave Canales who went from having a legitimate quarterback in Baker Mayfield to now Bryce Young with pretty much no weapons around him.
Well, yeah. So everybody on that, if John, if you are watching, no, I am not going to accept that trade. Yeah, David Montgomery is going to be a much better. First off, I like my running backs to be on playoff teams, not about to lose the first pick in the draft again because I think they gave it to Chicago, right?
No, Chicago had Carolina's first pick last year, which is how they got Caleb Williams. Chicago's got Carolina's second pick this year, but Carolina will have their first round pick this year.
Oh, well, that's very nice of them. Yeah, that's what I thought too. That was a very insulting offer. Like, who the hell do you think you are? You're not going to give me like something better than that? It's like, nope. So, anyways, yeah, we'll go bigger since we're both on here now, and there's no more Jay. All right, next, the LA Chargers beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Which was a little bit of a surprise to me too. I thought that the Raiders were going to come out a little bit stronger with Minshew, and Minshew. I mean, he didn't have a bad game. 25 for 33 for 257, an interception, 1 touchdown, and a 95.1 rating. But no rushing game at all.
That's the difference. That's something the Chargers didn't have last year that Harbaugh wanted to make it a point for in the offseason. They brought in Dobbins. They addressed that offensive line in the draft, and you saw it pay off right away.
So, yeah, I thought that would be a little bit better. Here's the one stat that stands out to me about both of these teams. They both stunk on third down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the defense was able to get off the field. in a lot of ways there. So, but yeah, other than that, I think Vegas is a better team than they showed here.
I do
They
too.
lost this game, but they won a lot of the battles. They won the time of possession. They won. Um, I think it was. They lost the fumbles. They lost the interception. They gave away the ball 3 times in this game.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's what does that. Don't give the ball away, and next thing you know, you're going to wind up winning those games. So I expect that the Raiders will do better next time around. Here you go. The Seahawks. Bo is very happy about this. The Seahawks outlast the Bo Nix and the Broncos. Um, Bo Nix with 2 interceptions, but a rushing touchdown. So a little bit better. Seemed like the Broncos field goal kicker is going to get a lot of work this year.
Yeah.
They just can't finish drives. Beyond that, Seattle coming out of the gates 1-0. That's a big deal.
It is.
They're going to need to keep. They're going to need to keep up right now. Right now, with the way that the Rams played, the Rams looked really good last night. We'll get to that game in a little bit. The Rams looked good in comparison. So here was another game that the Buccaneers come out smoking. And they're playing Washington, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but they spank Washington 37-20.
Yeah, and keep an eye on Baker Mayfield this year. I mean, Baker Mayfield looked really, really good yesterday.
4 touchdowns, 146.4 rating for 289 yards, 24-30 for 289 yards. Mike Evans doing what Mike Evans does. Doesn't matter that guy's like 96 years old. He is still one of the best receivers in the league. And when they are doing now, he's going to be somebody that will do very well with the hand check rule.
Yes,
If
he
they're
will.
not calling the hand check rule, he's going to be somebody who does very, very well because he can smack them hands all over the place and still get them up there fast enough. So he's going to do real well. So yeah, I mean, that was an interesting thing to kind of see there.
And he's still I think he's had a 1,000-yard season every year in the league, and he's one of those receivers that nobody ever talks about, just because of the team that he plays for.
Right. Absolutely. And Washington, it wasn't too bad. Their biggest issue was again third down efficiency. You gotta be able to convert on third down sometimes, and they weren't doing it. They were 2 for 8, which really puts them in the back end of things. But I mean, like I said, they got a new quarterback there. They're trying to figure it out. It's gonna, Jaden Daniels may be better than what he is in this first game.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody's looking very excited in Tampa Bay right now because they were slated to be the number 2 or number 3 team in the division behind Atlanta, and Atlanta poops the bed, and Tampa Bay comes out strong. So we'll see if that can continue. The Dallas Cowboys and Tom Brady's initial broadcast. Did you listen to the broadcast?
I did not know.
Neither did I. So I don't know how Tom Brady did. But
they said he did really good. That's at least according to the articles this morning. They said he did really well.
The Cowboys. I mean, I heard that he looked uncomfortable.
He looked uncomfortable, but in terms of analysis and things like that, he did a really good job. He just looked uncomfortable to be in the spotlight on TV, as opposed to being the spotlight on the field.
Understood. So, anyways, the Cowboys, 33-17, they will show off pretty well. I mean, obviously, it looked initially. I thought that Cleveland was going to play a little bit better. That defense was going to play better. Not the case.
I think it's time to pull the plug on Watson too. Watson looks lost.
24 for 45, 169, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a 51.1 rating.
Yeah, Watson looks completely lost right now.
And how about Zeke Elliott leading the rushing charge with 40. I mean, obviously, they could have gave the ball to Lamb a little bit more running the ball because he got 25 yards on 3 carries. So, but on 10 carries, Zeke gets 40 yards. Lamb gets 61 yards receiving. But really, I mean, there was one touchdown, one rushing touchdown, one throwing touchdown. That was it. Everything else happened in field goals, I guess.
Hmm.
They
And
didn't score a defensive touchdown, did they?
I don't think so. If they did, I missed it. I don't know.
Yeah, lots of field goals.
I think that offense will really. I'm not gonna say take off, but I think that offense will look different once Delvin Cook gets up to speed. And when Delvin Cook gets inserted into that offense, and you have Zeke as your goal line back, and then you have Delvin Cook to kind of be the pass catching running back and kind of your first and second down back, I think that offense will be a little bit more explosive than what they were yesterday.
Oh, there was a punt return touchdown.
Yeah,
That's the other one.
Devontae Turbin, yeah.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out where that third touchdown came from, but a punt return touchdown. Yeah, and that was the other thing that happened in the Chargers game. I think the Chargers had the very first kickoff return for a touchdown.
Yes, the first one with the new rules or whatever, or the new
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, but Deshaun Watson, correct, was awful yesterday. 2 INTs. Hey, listen, you know what? You're stuck with him. If you're Cleveland, you ain't got no choice because he's all cap hit. All cap hit. Just like Zach's going to be in a couple of weeks. He's going to be all cap hit. So, and to end the day, it went back and forth here with this Rams Lions game. Kind of something that I expected a little bit. I thought that the Rams would play pretty good. I think that the Lions are a little bit slower to get out of the gate, but back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and ultimately the Lions take game one, 26-20 in overtime. No, Frankie, the Patriots didn't shock the world. They didn't shock the world. They beat Cincinnati, who stinks in the beginning of the season. I gave them a little bit of flowers because they weren't expected to win, and they blew up everybody's suicide picks. So they didn't blow up mine, by the way, because I chose the Vikings and I didn't choose Cincinnati because I didn't trust it whatsoever. But I am a little tan. I am definitely dark. So. But yes, so feel good about this one, Frankie. You're not going to have much else to feel good about this year with your Patriots. But I'm happy that you got one win.
Yeah, as well as the Rams played in this game, because they did play very well, I think I'm more so impressed with Detroit because this is the first time where Detroit has had as much pressure as they have on them. Because they're expected to win now. They're expected to be in the running to make it to the Super Bowl. They're expected to be in the running to be a division champ again. And I think that just how Detroit handles the pressure this year, I think is going to be key. And they did handle the pressure last night. They got off to a slow start. They didn't let it bother them, and they found a way to win.
Yes.
And Jamison Williams looked really good last night. And if you pair that with Amon-Ra St. Brown, look at St. Brown. St. Brown had 3 catches for 13 yards last night. He's not going to have another game that bad the rest of the season. Then you had Jamison Williams, who had 121 yards and 5 catches.
Right.
Those two together, if they both can put up consistently 90 to 100 yards, you still have Montgomery, you still have Gibbs. Detroit's going to be tough.
They're going to be there, and they're going to be going back and forth. Williams, it's either going to be Williams or St. Brown. Yep. And truth of the matter is that the first few weeks, I expected to be Williams. He sat on my bench yesterday.
Yeah.
He was one of the 2 receivers that sat on my bench on my fantasy team because I didn't think Xavier was going to do real well for the Chiefs either. Like first out, you know what I mean? Like you let the rookies sit in the beginning. Damn, not anymore. They ain't sitting anymore.
Nope.
So that was the and so it really was a good game for that to end it off. The Rams look a lot tougher than I thought they would. You know, they may have. Obviously, we're going to find out pretty quickly. Puka Nacua. I mean, he could be miss some significant time.
Yep.
So we will see about that. I think we learned that there was not much going on. Like they found out that Love was not as bad as originally thought.
But the thing is, they say anywhere between anywhere between
4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks, but up to 8 is what they said. What I can
Yeah.
see the Packers doing is putting him on IR because then he sits 6. Then you're just putting him kind of right in the middle of that recovery period. You don't have to play the.
They ain't got nobody else to quarterback.
I understand that, but
Yeah, that's that. You can't go
They're in a
0-7
tough
and
spot.
think
I
that
don't think they
because
go
that's
0. I don't think
they
go
would
0-7.
absolutely go 0-7 with that quarterback. That they will not do well at all.
No, I can see him beating the Titans. That might be it.
Yeah, Willis is not the answer.
They called Ryan Tannehill yesterday.
There you go. It's it right there. Bam. He tried to beat you to it. So yes, I can imagine he called Ryan. Hey Ryan, you want to come save our lives here for a little bit? But he wouldn't be ready this week. He'd be 2 weeks away at least.
Yeah, he'd be ready for the Titans game in week 3. They have the Colts next week on the road, or the Colts next week in Lambeau.
Yeah, that's and we already talked about how the Colts are a lot stronger of a team than suspected.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes forward. But like I said, an MCL strain, I do not believe they're going to put him on IR because sitting him 6 weeks is not in the cards here. It's just not in the cards. He's going to have to play. So 4 weeks, maybe, you know. But it looked a lot worse when we
did.
saw it happen. I was like, ooh, that might be the end of his season. But he did okay. So I mean, it's 3 to 4 weeks sprained MCL. At least it's not an ACL, partial tear.
Right.
Because if it's a partial tear of an ACL, it's a full tear of an ACL.
Yeah.
So, and tonight's game is the New York Jets versus the San Francisco 49ers. And interestingly enough, everybody in the AFC East has won.
Mm-hmm.
So the Jets got to keep pace right now. Can the Jets do it? Do you think the Jets have a chance tonight?
I do, but I don't think it's going to happen just because this is Aaron Rodgers' kryptonite. He hasn't beaten the 49ers, and I can't remember when. And then
I don't think he ever has. I think he's an offer.
He has beaten him, but I don't think he's ever beaten him at Levi Stadium. I think he's 0-4, 0-5 at Levi Stadium, but he's gotten them, I think, once or twice in the regular season at Lambeau. He just has not gotten them in the playoffs.
Yeah, it doesn't really say how many times he's beaten them, but
That's
if it was Chicago.
This is the one team that Rodgers has not had a lot of success against, and he needs to figure out a way to beat them. Obviously, he can't face them in the playoffs anymore unless they make it to the Super Bowl. So I guess that part he can get off his back, but this is still his kryptonite when it comes to teams that he can or can't beat.
Yeah, and it doesn't say in this thing here, but I suspect that
Aaron Rodgers is 6-4 against the 49ers in his career. He's 6-1 against them during the regular season, 0-3 in the playoffs.
There you go. 0-3 in the playoffs, but 6-4 in the regular season.
But he's 6-1 against them in the regular season.
Oh, he just
he's 0-3 against the 49ers at this stadium. So he has not beaten them in Levi's yet.
Frankie, that's fake news, by the way. That's as much fake news as everybody's saying that we can't wear green in Brazil. We couldn't wear green in Brazil. That was also fake news, by the way. So stop believing everything you read on the internet. So, but anyways, yeah, I think that this game is at 3.5. Yeah, I got the 49ers big here. But I wonder, does Rodgers make it out of this game alive?
He better. You better if the Jets want any chance to do anything this year because Jordan Travis ain't going to be helping him this year.
Well, they're their linebacker, their big linebacker, the guy who does most of the damage for their defense, is still out. Right? He's
Yeah,
still the.
yeah. Robert Saleh said he's out this week. He might be ready next week, but he's out this week.
So I mean, I think that plays a big part. I'd be willing to bet Rodgers has got a little bit of a sigh of relief from that.
Yeah, but then I mean, 49ers defense is so good too, and Brees Hall is such an important piece of that offense. If Brees Hall doesn't get really anything going, I feel bad for Rodgers because 49ers secondary can take away Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I. I mean, I like Hall. I think he could change the offense for them. Um, Again, this is where that linebacker really comes into play because he really is the captain of that defense.
Yeah.
So they've had to have another captain out there, and this captain is going to be playing his first game without that guy.
Yep.
So there's some play there. There's some mix in that. I expect this to be a close game. I wonder if that hook is going to wind up catching people.
Yeah, I think the 49ers win, but I think it's going to be like a 20-17 type of game just because both defenses are really good.
That's what I say. The hook is going to catch somebody.
Yeah, yards are just not easy to come by against these defenses.
All right. So you wonder if Brock Purdy makes it out of this game alive, because Trent Williams isn't playing, right?
I think he's game time. I don't think they've ruled him out yet. I think he's a game time decision.
Did they sign him?
I don't know.
You're talking the offensive tackle.
Yeah.
I'm talking the offensive tackle for the 49ers, right? Yeah. I mean,
I thought he said that. I thought they said he was a game time decision.
Yeah, that sounds to me like they're trying to gamesmanship a little bit, but they haven't signed him. If he hasn't signed, he ain't playing.
Trent Williams is expected to have a full load on Monday.
Okay.
That was as of 7 hours ago, so he is expected to play tonight.
Gotcha. So, and I guess that contract dispute is over.
Well, no, yeah, 6 days ago they re-signed him. They gave him 2 years guaranteed.
How much money?
I'm looking at that right now. This is 6 days ago. 49ers and Trent Williams agreed to a 2-year fully guaranteed extension. It does not say on that.
We're not going to tell you how much money he's getting.
Not on that article. Then I might be able to find another one.
Huh. Oh, there you go. Good for you, Trent. Glad you hold out to get your money. Worthwhile. Maybe now you can go and play. Fact that he's going to be a little rusty makes me think that I don't know. He's good enough to be able to do it either way.
Yeah. 2 year. It's a 3-year, $82.66 million contract. So $27 million a year and change.
For 3 years?
3 years, $82.69 million. $48 million signing bonus, and then a additional $25 million carried out in bonuses and whatnot. So it can turn out to be $138 million over the remaining 4 years of his deal.
If he all pros all 3 years.
Yep.
Good for him.
So basically he'll retire as a 49er, basically.
Well, unless he wants to play Jason Peters and decide that he can't leave football.
Yeah, he'll be 40 at the end of this contract, so we'll see.
Well, Jason Peters is like 43 years old, and I think did he re-sign with a team this year?
I think he's a free agent. I don't think he signed yet. He wants to play, but I don't think he signed yet.
Yeah, that's the other thing about it. Like, come on, guy. Like, think about this in a real sense. You're not old. Like, your time is up. Your time is up, Jason. Every year you play here is going to take longer for you to get into the Hall of Fame. That's just all it is. Like, it's like, I understand you were a great player, blah, 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 bullshit. You know what I mean? You stink now as a player. You just need to fade off into the sunset. You've already lost your first round ballot. Yeah. And I feel like he's just losing second term ballot. It's going to take him longer because it's all going to catch up to him. With he's not being able to just not being the guy. You know what I
Right.
mean? Oh well, such is life. He'll figure it out one way or another. Anyways, so not only was there that, but there was some baseball still going on. The Phillies are still the best in, you know, just about the best, although they lost 2 to the Marlins. So maybe the Dodgers wound up taking it back over
Yeah,
again.
Dodgers have again. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to go down to the wire, I think. Uh, the Mariners have decided to just continue to poop the bed, so they won't win anymore either. Houston's going to limp into the playoffs, probably better as the best team out there. Although the Rangers are starting to play a little bit. We'll see if they can catch up a little bit, but I don't expect it.
Right.
As of right this second, the Mets are in the playoffs.
Yep. Well, are they though? I think the Braves still have the tiebreaker because they're tied with the Braves record-wise, but I think the Braves still have the 3 based on tiebreaker.
So yeah, last I read it yesterday, and the Mets were the ones in, and the Braves were out. But I guess the Mets lost and the Braves won, so they're tied, and
Yep.
that's why.
They have the Braves as the 3 yet, so I'm guessing that's because of tiebreaker.
Got you. So it'll be
Oh no,
interesting.
they have the Mets ahead of them, so the Mets have the tiebreaker. The Mets are 6-4 against the Braves this year, so they have 1 series left.
Got you. Yeah, and there's what, maybe 20 games left for everybody.
Less than that, 17, 18 ish.
Yeah, so I have 3, 6. Then you have, so 3, 6, 9, 13, 16, 19 games left for the Phillies.
The Cubs have 19 games left. The Mets have 18, and the Braves have 18.
Got you. Yeah, so we got Tampa Bay tonight, where I'm going to be sitting with Uncle Charlie Manuel. So it's going to
Nice.
be fun to actually sit. If you're going to see me at the baseball game today, I am not going to be walking around as much. I'll be honest, I can't. My body hurts. I played football on Friday before the game, and we played a game of 2-hand touch. And
Was it
I tell
actually
you,
2-hand touch?
huh?
Was
It was actually 2-hand touch, but our field was as slippery as the field was in Sao Paulo.
Yes.
So literally, and I tackled the guy who painted my face. I did a tackle, and I tried to stop, and I slipped, and it was almost like I was a Charlie Brown,
Oof.
right on my back. I tell you, I got up and I continued. I finished the game out, but it hurts now. Like, this is the couple days after the fact now. It's like, ouch.
Right.
The plane ride did not help.
No, yeah.
But it was still fun. And so I am going to be painted up today. I am going to be at the Phillies game, so definitely come say hello if you're around. Also, because we didn't do any advertisements, I am going to let everybody know that if you would like to come to the Eagles versus the New York Giants up at MetLife Stadium, you have still time to book with Philly Sports Trips. We have buses down in the city where we're getting it. We get all our buses from Live Casino, or you could come to my living room, and we're going to be taking a bus from here. And just so that you know, it is my birthday, and it's going to be my birthday win against the Giants. I always say that the Eagles season begins when we play the Giants, and it's going to be a beautiful day because it's my birthday. So it's my birthday. It's PJ Dolan's birthday a couple days later. So we're going to be having a party that entire time. Come get your tickets now. PhillySportsTrips.com. Tell them that you want to go and get on the bus at Dolan's because it's going to be a party.
You should book a trip with Kirk Lozick for when Tampa Bay plays Philly.
I'm going to be down there already.
Kirk Lozick's in our comments. 1131. He's one of my good friends from back home. He's how you are with a Philly sports guy. That's how Kirk is with Tampa Bay.
Well, tell him to come find me. I would be more than happy to run into him. I did see somebody go, "Yay, Tampa," or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I'm sure that was the guy. So, but hey, listen, Tell them to meet me down there. I love great banter. And Tampa Bay loves me. And I love Tampa. So I'm all game for it. Let's definitely make that happen. But in the meantime, our hour here is done. So definitely hit the subscribe button, like and subscribe, share it out to all your friends. Get everybody here on our YouTube page, or you can watch us on the big screen. You can get us here. We're also on Roku, so we look much better on a big screen. That being said, we will be back tomorrow. Probably Bo will be back, hopefully. If not, it's definitely going to be me. And we will be able to see you again tomorrow, guys. Everybody, have a good Monday. Enjoy your football game. And if you lost money this week, make sure to try to win it back here tonight. Go Birds.